Hello, welcome to Sheffield Board Gamers. This is episode 4. I'm joined today by Tom. Hello, Tom.
Hello, Rick.
Hello, and I'm joined by Samuel as well. Hello, Samuel.
Hello.
Episode 4 already, I can't believe it.
I know.
It only seems like yesterday when we started.
And yet another combination of Tom and Samuel.
Yeah.
And in all the permutations. Still the same old Rick, though.
Yeah, it's still the same me. Got a few things we're going to talk about today, so we're going to talk about some games that we've been playing recently. We've got an interview with Alex from Castle Gaming. We're going to talk about a question of the week, which is how do you deal with alpha gamers in a cooperative game? But before that, I had a package come through the post the other day.
Ooh.
And it was quite, well, it didn't come through the post actually. It went to the post office because it wouldn't fit in the letterbox. It's a book, and it's called Georgian and Victorian Board Games, the Lyman Collection. So Arthur Lyman was a collector of board games, and he had a huge collection going back from the 1700s to the late 1800s. So these are really old sort of classical games. When England started doing their printing presses and they started creating these things in the late 1700s, they were used for entertainment purposes. So this book is kind of a collection of his board games that he had. And they've taken photographs of all the boards and sort of the rules and things like that and put them into a big coffee table book. So it's really interesting to sort of flick through this and have a look at the boards. So we talk a lot today about artwork in games and like how good the artwork is. But a lot of the artwork that are on these boards are quite good as well. They're quite well illustrated, and a lot of them are hand coloured as well. So what they do is they have a printing press where they print a black sort of copy, sometimes on linen, but sometimes on card as well. And then they'd be hand coloured by the workers who did them. Sometimes they'd have a template, sometimes they'd do it by hand.
Were these quite luxury items then?
I'm not sure actually. I think they would have been quite expensive. Yeah, they probably would have been out of the price range of some people, but I don't know. I think there's no prices on them anyway, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure how expensive they were, but they were really popular. There's quite a lot in this actual book. Some of the pages kind of fold out as well. So you've got your double-sided book, and it folds out again. So there are actually a couple of games in here that you can play because the printing is kind of big enough to actually see the entire game board.
Oh wow!
What's quite interesting is that hardly any of them use dice because obviously that was frowned upon in Victorian circles. It was associated with gambling, so a lot of them have what they call a totem, and it's like one of those things that you spin. And it's like heads on a spinner. So you spin it round, and then it lands on the side, and that'll have a number on it, and that's how many spaces you move. Most of them are just roll and move. And most of them are kind of either educational or purely for entertainment. So some of them are quite comical and some of them are educational, and they'll talk about the politics of the day. Some of them have kind of maps on and things like that, so they're educational in that way, and they'll show you like about the world and the British Isles and things like that, and where all the different things are. But the artwork in it's fantastic. It's brilliant to actually see some of the stuff that's in here. There's like a game based on the Crystal Palace, the exhibition that was held in the late 1800s, and it shows you like the drawings of the actual palace itself where it was held, and the inventions that were on display there and things like that. So yeah, it's really interesting.
It's a fascinating piece of social history. I mean, it's how it fits into the culture of the day as well. I mean, I know a lot of them were like trying to teach moral lessons to the young people. You've been a bad boy, go back 5 spaces, that sort of thing.
Yeah, there are quite a lot of moral kind of board games on there. I think isn't that something to do with Snakes and Ladders? Wasn't that like
that was a
moral game to start with?
Yeah, sort of. I think that had something to do with destiny and fate. I'm not sure exactly how, but yes.
Yeah, there's no strategy to any of these games. They are purely roll and move. They're purely entertainment, first and foremost. Educational, secondly, perhaps. But there's no strategy as such. It's just purely kind of rolling the spinner and then seeing what happens. There are a couple that are played with cards. So as well as the boards themselves, sometimes they'll print the instructions as well, so you can actually read the instructions as they were produced and put into these games. And some of them are played with a deck of cards. So what they'll do is they'll tick out some of the cards and the variations on gin and gin rummy and other variations of games. But Yeah, it's really interesting to sort of flick through and sort of have a look at the illustrations that are in there, and just have a read of it. So, what have you guys been up to? Have you been up to anything these past couple of weeks?
I've been playing not that many games, to be honest. It's been just too warm to do anything. I've played some, obviously. Yes, we've played through our latest box of Unlock, which is Heroic Adventures. Do you know the Unlock series at all? I don't know if you've.
Yeah, I've played a few of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's one of the escape room.
Yeah, I played a couple of them.
Yeah.
I think, and there was a couple of the ones from the first box.
Yeah,
with you possibly, Tom. I can't remember.
Quite possibly, yes. We played something on the 24-hour thing, didn't we? I don't know if
we did play it. That was a Deckscape, I think.
Oh right.
I played one at a Sunday session last year before.
Yeah, this is Unlock Heroic Adventures, which I think is the 4th box of 3 adventures they've released. I'm not sure. And it had 3 separate sets of cards, which you worked through using an app to time you and to put in codes and so forth. And it's 3 totally different things that do different things with the card mechanism, and and they're adding in new things like virtual things, like you press a number for the card and then hold it up to look at cards and go, oh look, it changes the card. Oh. So they're having a little bit more app integration and rather than just the deck of cards now. It's and it worked really well.
Is it getting harder as they go from box to box?
I don't think it's getting harder. I think it's just changing a few different mechanics in how it's working. They've got a couple of them this time where it's not just the cards. They've also got like a leaflet or a booklet to look through as well. So they keep on trying to add new things in, which is good. They're not just sitting back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought there's one based on video games, which was really good. One based on Sherlock Holmes, where you had to sort of solve a mystery in a kind of escape room kind of way, which was very good as well. And another one based on Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, wow. Nice.
Yeah, I'm going to have to pick these up. I really like the Unlock ones. Only trouble is I've got a couple of Deckscape ones that I've not even played yet, so I need to find time to play them. But yeah, the Unlock ones are good.
I want to play those more. I've not played very many of that kind of thing, and I don't know what to do.
Do they still have the numbers? You have to find the numbers kind of hidden in the pictures.
Oh yeah. The cards come in a weird order, and you've got to search through trying to find number 37, and then card A, and yeah. Which is, I suppose, the intention of that is sort of mirroring the desperate searching around an escape room, trying to search for clues. So yeah, it's just mirroring that. Yep.
I've been playing a game called Call to Adventure. I've played this a few times. This is kind of it seems more thematic than it actually is. It's about building a hero and kind of putting together the life story of this adventurer that's going to go out and do things in this fantasy world. But really, it's a card game, and you're basically collecting icons on these cards. So it seems like it's going to be really thematic about going out and fighting monsters and things like that. But it's not really. It's more of a set collecting game. It's produced by Brotherwise Games, and it plays between 1 and 4 players. It takes between 30 and 60 minutes, and you have sets of cards that are out on the table, and you have what they call runes. They're kind of like 2-sided dice. They're like flat kind of dice. Imagine a dice that's kind of being flattened down to just have 2 sides. And these sides have successes on them, either 0, 1 or 2 successes, depending on the rune that you're picking up. And the more runes that match your symbols that are in your character, the more runes that you roll, and the more chance you've got of success of getting more cards. So it's basically about getting these cards and matching symbols up. It's fairly quick. You only get 9 cards throughout the game, so it's not going to be terribly long. But it's quite good. I like the artwork in it. The artwork's really good. All the cards have got like fantasy kind of depictions on there, and you've got like a starting set of cards, like you can be an orphan or a pickpocket or something like that, and then you go on these adventures, and you eventually end up fighting a demon or becoming the archmage as you go through the deck of cards. It was quite good. I enjoyed it while I played it, but I don't think it's particularly. It's going to last. It's got the longevity. I think it's kind of 3/4 of a good game. I've got the feeling they kind of took out some stuff to be put into expansions, and I know there are expansions coming out, at least a couple that are in the pipeline. So that's one downside. Once you've played it a couple of times, you kind of know what you're looking for, and there's not much that's going to be different in there. But I really like the runes. The runes are quite good with trying to work out, you know, kind of the chance of what you're going to get, and you can risk it and go for it with just the runes that you've got, or you can throw a few dark runes in that give you a more chance of getting the results that you need. That's quite good. It does kind of build up a story, which is quite cool at the end. It shows you, where your origins were of your character and how what you're doing now and things like that. So that's good as well. Did you play this as well, Samuel? With us? Did you play this one?
I know. I've seen you playing it a couple of times, but I never actually got to play it.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's worth playing a couple of times. But like I say, I think after that you'd probably get a bit bored with the combinations. It just needs another mechanic or something else in there to kind of make it a really good game. But it was fine as it is, and it's good.
Just having a look at this on Board Game Geek, and it does look very pretty.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I mean, the cards are like 4/5 of them are the artwork, and then a little bit of the text on the bottom about what they actually do.
Yeah, they're kind of tarot-shaped cards. They're not like normal cards. They're a bit longer and a bit bigger. So you've got plenty of space for some nice artwork on there.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah.
Possibly a bit unnecessary.
Yeah.
What have I been playing? I have been playing the expansion to Kingdomino, along with the base game, obviously. Not just on its own, that'd be silly. Kingdomino Age of Giants. I'm sure most people are familiar with Kingdomino, so I'm not going to go over the rules of that particularly, but it's a tile laying game where you're building a kingdom, and you score points for the number of crowns each of the areas you make.
Very nice, quick, breezy game.
Yeah.
Takes about half an hour.
Yeah.
Nice and quick. Yeah.
So the expansion sort of adds three things. It adds a fifth player, which is always nice. So you can now play with 5, because the original game played 2 to 4. Let's play 2 to 5 now with the expansion. I suppose arguably actually adds 4 things. Arguably it adds 4 things, because it also adds a little tower to stack all the tiles in when you're dishing them out and turning them over, which works quite well actually. They come out nicely at the bottom, and you can keep them in there after the game as well, and whatever. So that's good. And the main thing it adds is the titular giants. So there are 6 tiles with giants on, and if you end up with one of those, you have to take a giant piece and stick it on top of one of your crowns, and then that crown doesn't score at the end of the game. So you get less points. But then there are also those giant pieces are, well, actually they're labelled A to F, so they come out before the number, so they're all the lowest ones. And then there are 6 more tiles from 49 to 54, because the original tiles go from 1 to 48. Picking in the higher the number is the better the tile. So these ones are the best tiles. These ones have got footprint. They've got 2 crowns on one side and 1 on the other in different land types. But they've also got footprints on, and if you get one of those and put it in your kingdom, you can take one of your giants in your kingdom and give it to somebody else to put in their kingdom. They get to choose where, so you can move the giants around. So instead of you losing the points, somebody else will, which is quite nice. There's a little bit more tactical thought there about, can I get that one? Is it going to come out when, oh no, it's come out and I'm not first player. Boo! It gets quite annoying, coming out at the wrong moments. It's like, arr. Although if you still get giants, you can still win. I was played against my mum recently, and I got 4 giants to her none and still won, because of how I'd done the thing. And then the other bit it adds, which I really quite like. The original game had a couple of ways of scoring bonus points. So you had 5 points if you had a complete square, and then you had 10 extra points if you got your castle right in the middle of your completed square. The expansion comes with 17 bonus tiles from which you pick 2, so they now have 17 different ways of scoring bonus points in the game. It has the original 2 and then another 15. So instead of having, and so you pick 2. So instead of having it being in the middle and the square, you might have points for every tile surrounding your castle that is water, or you might have castle being in the corner, or you might have.
That's cool.
Points for every forest in a corner, or points for every various other things, which is quite interesting. So that changes the game up quite a bit. And if you're used to playing Kingdomino, as I was, if you're used to playing Kingdomino with always trying to have your castle in the middle, to suddenly not have to have it in the middle is quite weird. Like, oh, I don't have to get it in the middle now! Hooray! It's quite bizarre. You're not actually forced to stick it in the middle if you want the bonus points.
Is it like a modular thing? Can you put in those and leave out the giants, or
you could add and take them out as if you wanted to. Yes, you could, for example, play without the giant tiles if you didn't want to. You just take those tiles out.
It still works.
Although you couldn't play 5-player without the giant tiles because you need those extra tiles to make enough tiles for the 5th player. But you could do, and you could take out the extra bonus tiles if you wanted to as well. Ironically, the first game I played with the expansion, I'd shuffled the bonus tiles, and the two I drew at random were 5 points for a completed square and 10 points for your castle being in the middle. I thought, I'm going to redraw them. Weird fluke. But yes, I really like the expansion because it adds just the right amount for an expansion to add. You get a few extra bonus tiles, which is really nice because that adds a bit more, even more replayability to the game because you're not always aiming for the same things. And then the giants is sort of quite nice because it's an extra mechanic, but it's not one that's going to massively overhaul everything. It's just going to add a slight tweak. You don't even have to play with it if you don't want to, or if you can leave it out if you want to just play with the ordinary game for a bit as well. I mean, you can play with it. It adds a little bit, but not. Like I said, it's not changing it a huge amount. It's just changing it a little bit, and I really like that.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. I picked it up with the UK Games Expo actually. Dave B and I were talking about it on the way down, and I think he picked it up as well while we were down there. But yeah, I'm glad I picked it up because it's really quite nice.
Yeah. Is this one of these expansions where you'd much rather play it with the expansion than without, or will you sort of sometimes have it with, sometimes without?
I think, certainly with the extra bonus tiles, if you like the bonus points, we always play it with the bonus point tiles, probably. I think the Giants is something you could put in for a bit, take out if you wanted to, and it doesn't really lose too much.
Right.
Really, it's not sort of. I don't think it. I would say it significantly improves the game, but then the game was pretty good anyway. It was very good anyway. It didn't need significantly improving, as it were. It's not that kind of an expansion, really. Like I said, I just really liked it because I just think it adds just the right amount for an expansion. It's quite nice. Or it's completely different. It's in a completely differently shaped box, which is a bit.
Yeah, the Kingdomino box is quite small as well, isn't it? So you probably can't fit it into the same box, do you?
It's a small square. This one's more of a slightly deeper rectangle. So I've got all the basic tiles and the thing that holds it all, which is quite good because you can kind of put it in this box, and it sort of shuts magnetically, and you can stand it up as like the dispenser, so it squirts well. So all that with all the tiles in it is in one box, and everything else is in the other one.
Yeah, I like Kingdomino. Yeah, it's a good game, and sounds good.
So that's I'd recommend the expansion if you like that.
Have you played Queen Domino?
I've played it twice, I think. I found that having played Kingdomino first, I wasn't as keen. It added a bit too much for me to the basic thing. You had the dragon thing, and the queen was an extra crown, which is okay. Then you've got the extra tile type, which was sort of a bit. I wasn't as keen. It kind of for me, it kind of slightly spoilt the simpleness and pureness of the original Kingdomino.
I think I felt the same thing. Yeah, it's just it's not what you'd expect from Kingdomino. So it's not that it's a bad game in itself. It's that it's compared to Kingdomino. It's just different.
The Age of Giants expansion, that definitely still feels like Kingdomino. Just a couple of little extra bits that mesh in very nicely. So yes, I'd recommend that if you like Kingdomino.
Yeah.
If you played it a lot and you're wanting to change it up a bit, but yeah.
Another game that we've played recently is one called Junk Art. I didn't actually have a dexterity game in my collection, so I've been looking out for one to pick up, and I played this one a few times, and it was on special offer, so I thought I'd buy this one. Junk Art is kind of a stacking game where you stack plastic pieces on top of each other, and I think there is a wooden version as well, where the pieces are made out of wood.
Yeah, a bit more expensive.
I have the wooden version.
I've got it's the plastic one that I've got.
Yeah, the wooden version is preferable just because it's less likely to snap and is a bit nicer.
Yeah,
I'm sure the plastic version is fine.
It's kind of it's not the same rules throughout. You've got some cards which are city cards, and these will give you slightly different rules based on the card that you've drawn. So one might be a speed game where you're trying to build the tallest tower in the shortest amount of time. One might be where you're passing cards around and you're giving other people pieces to put on their structures. There's also one where you actually change seats as well. So you have to put some pieces onto your structure and then you swap seats and then you get a new structure in front of you, which is quite good fun.
Yeah, you've got to make sure you don't bash the table when you're doing that, and you've got to make sure you've got space to get around the table as well for that one. But we did find that, I guess this is the problem with any
dexterity game, but we banged the table a couple of times and everything just collapsed.
Yeah.
But that kind of adds to the fun of it as well, I think. It's not a long game, it's like 30 minutes. So even if everything collapses, you can always just rebuild it or play another round with another city card. Yeah, it works really well. The plastic pieces are good. I think they've been designed to kind of fit together, but not fit together perfectly. So you've got like lots of flat pieces and like square pieces, and then a round piece, which is like almost spherical, but with kind of one flat edge on it. The stacking of it is good fun. It's trying to build the tallest structure, but you're not always trying to do that because the city cards give you a bit of variety. Sometimes you're trying to put like colours together or like shapes together. Sometimes you are just going for the tallest structure and building up that way.
Yeah, and some of the places are cooperative. You're all building on the same structure as well.
Yeah. It plays between 2 and 6 players. I think I've played it 2, 3 and 6 players, and it works well. Yeah, it works well either way. Some of the games don't work with either 2 players or 6 players, but what you do is you just take those cards out.
Yeah, I think there's one that doesn't work with more than 4 and one that doesn't work with less than 3.
Yeah.
I think
so
like that.
if you do draw that card, you can draw another one.
Yeah. And mine came with 3 blank cards, so you can make your own cities and your own rules up.
Yeah.
And then it came with a card where you've got cities that you can use in conjunction with Flick 'em Up. You get the cactus pieces and the cowboys from Flick 'em Up, and you're trying to flick bullets at your opponent's house to knock them over. Which I tried once, it was quite good fun actually. Obviously, again, not as it's a building game, it's not perhaps for everybody, the destruction element, but it's a bit of a change.
Yeah, it's a good game. I really enjoyed it. It's good fun. Like I say, it's really quick. It's like 25, 30 minutes to play. Even if you're playing all 3 cities, it doesn't take long for your structure to kind of build up and become unstable. So
yeah,
it's got its own end built in kind of thing. It ends when you've dropped a certain number of pieces or everything falls down or you lose whatever. So that's fine. And it was really good fun. I enjoyed it.
I've really enjoyed this. Wanted to buy this.
I was wondering, with this game, do you think like Concept, where a lot of people play it with just ignoring the scoring rules? Just play through the city, see who wins, yay! Let's play another city, see who wins, yay!
Yeah,
we just carry on going until you stop.
Yeah, you could play any number of cities. Really, it suggests 3, so that's what I tend to play. But you could just play any number of cities you wanted to, really.
The scoring tokens in the plastic one are a bit naff. They're just like little round plastic tiddlywink type things. Yeah. So they were a bit of a letdown. I would have liked some nicer scoring tokens.
The one in the wooden one that I've got, they're wooden.
I'm sure you could play this with just ignoring the scoring tokens.
In the wooden one I've got, they're black and white wooden discs, which are
the discs,
nice.
They're just flat plastic,
Yeah, I mean, they're flat wooden discs is sort of similar to plastic.
But you don't have to use them. You do play for points on most of the games. But I did find that after either 1 or 2 games, somebody had got like 10 points and somebody hadn't got any. So you're not going to win on the last game anyway. So
yeah, I've found that a few times where you suddenly like, who's going to win? Oh, the winner gets 3, everyone else gets 2. Well, that's you've won then. There were 1 or 2 places where I thought the scoring was a bit 3 or 2. So well, it's not much difference for the effort we're going to put in, but anyway.
And then sometimes you'll get a bonus if you got the biggest structure or the tallest or whatever. Sometimes. So you know you're not going to win if you know the points. The maximum points you're going to get is 4 or 5, and somebody's got 10. Then win,
I did think the scoring could be a bit more varied. But other than that, it's quite good. I thought the variety in the different types was quite good. The fast ones, the together ones, the ones where you have to keep building until stuff falls down. Ones where you build up to a certain point.
Yeah, one's even a trick-taking game. The cards have numbers on them.
Yeah.
So you play cards and you play like tricks, and whoever when there's a trick gets to decide who gets to place which pieces. Yeah,
so
and then, it is quite good.
And another one, you get a colour each rather than just having because there's 4 different colours.
Yeah.
So that one you each have a different colour rather than just whatever pieces you end up with, which is a bit different again. One of the roll with it things, I think it was the last one actually. I've got a picture of Tom having gotten to a slightly awkward position.
Yeah, we did play at the club, and there's like some long, thin like cylinder pieces. So they're about 3 or 4 inches long, and one person, I think it was Paulie G, he'd kind of stacked them on top of each other. So he'd put one down, and then another one on top of it, and then another one on top of it. So he's definitely going to win the tallest structure, but definitely wasn't the most stable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can get some quite good results out of it. Once you've actually finished, you've got something that you've built in front of you, which is quite satisfying.
Yeah, it's got some really great moments of just Oh, wow, I can't believe I just did that.
When you're kind of leaning a piece in against another piece, or you've got something balanced on top of the round piece and things like that, yeah, it does.
Yeah,
good.
Tom's got a pile of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 17 things, I think. And the top's getting very wobbly.
Wow.
It's all kinds of it's getting mad. We've got, he's trying to put another one on, but it's mad. I got the Expo another similar game called Bantu, I think. Bantu or Bandu? One or the other. Bandu, I think. I always get the name wrong. Look at that. Yes, Bandu, which came out, which is kind of similar. You have loads of it's basically just 2 massive bags of lovely wooden pieces. I got it for like 15 quid at the Bring and Buy.
All right.
I was helping a woman out. She was between that and Junk Art, actually, and in the end she bought Junk Art, so I thought I'd buy that one.
Yeah.
But there are some really horrible pieces. If you Google some of the pieces, there's all kinds of the red ones are the difficult. There's all sorts of spheres and meeple shaped things, and just things that just one that's basically just a golf tee. There's like meeple things. Literally, actual almost spheres, like an egg-shaped thing, and all sorts of other things. And every single piece is different. It's like some bits was like spare bits of wood you'd find lying around, like a couple of mini bits of wood. There's 6 blocks, which are sort of a nice uniform shape. But after that, everything's a bit of a mess.
Mm.
And it's similar, but you have crystals, so you're kind of bidding to try and get pieces or to not get pieces. And then if you run out, obviously you just can't bid.
Mm.
So I think there's 4 different games, but. You could just, I've just sort of played around and just tried to make towers out of it, which can be quite fun. And then some of the pieces have sloped ends as well, so you're sort of trying to, it's all a bit, there's some very crazy shapes.
Yeah, well, let's try that one time.
Yeah, I'll bring that to Tom at some point. It's a bit, the games they came with are they're not as good as the Junk Art sort of cities. There's not as much variety. But the pieces are really nice, the box is really nice. Artwork and stuff. And 15 quid for a massive bag of, basically a massive box of just wooden pieces is pretty nice.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's, the shapes are just so awful. It's ridiculous. You've got, that one does some kind of wooden Christmas tree, which is like, how the hell am I even supposed to do anything with that? So quite part of the fun is supposed to run out, just having this horrible shape, have this horrible shape, have this horrible shape, and then there's 1 or 2 of the game modes is you can give. I think you give somebody a piece, and basically they can either try and put it on themselves, or they can get you to put it on.
Right.
And so you go try and get it on without knocking it over. So it kind of there's a bit which Junk Art doesn't do. I just thought I'd mention that as it's similar.
Yeah, sounds good.
Also, looking back at your book about 18th century and old board games, I'm wondering if this tradition of wooden blocks that you'd find in Junk Art and Bandu goes back to something called Froebel gifts. If you look it up on Wikipedia, it's Froebel. And Froebel was the guy that invented kindergartens. And he also created this standardized set of blocks, or set of gifts, which included this set of whole wooden blocks that would be given to kids at various stages during their...
I've just googled a picture of it,
yeah. And this became sort of went along with the kindergarten movement and became a big thing in all of a lot of children's lives, especially in Germany and wherever the kindergarten movement spread to. And it's influenced a lot of people. The whole Bauhaus movement was created from that. Frank Lloyd Wright had a set of blocks when he was a kid.
Yeah.
Le Corbusier.
Yeah, but building stuff when you're a kid is fun, isn't it? Lego's really popular, and sort of building blocks for younger kids and things like that.
Yeah, it's just,
and it's still fun when you're playing that kind of stuff later on.
Yeah, I had some shatter blocks when I was younger. We make French shatters out of that we got from France, that kind of thing. That was good, and you can get. I've got some other. I had another set of wooden blocks as well.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if this whole thing of giving wooden blocks to kids to play with just started with Froebel, or whether it was something that people did in a smaller way earlier on, and they just sort of standardised it.
I expect Jenga played a part as well.
Oh yes,
that's another one. Stacking wooden blocks in a slightly different sense, but it's essentially a similar thing.
They've just got inherent play value, haven't they?
Yeah. Quite fun.
Just do it. I mean, like with board games, it's a physical thing, isn't it? You've got all the stuff in front of you, and you've got your meeples and everything, and it's kind of is there. But you don't really interact with it that much. You take your turn, and then it sort of goes round. Whereas with these kind of dexterity games and flicking games and things like that, it's more hands-on, isn't it? It's more tactical and more physically based.
I've got
than
a few
perhaps
flicking games.
We'll have to do an episode on flicking and dexterity games one day.
Yeah, because I've got two versions to flick it up, and I've got Pitch Car, and I've got Mars Golf and stuff. So yeah, we can do that. That's a good idea.
What else have you been playing, Samuel? Any other games?
I have one I played this last week when we're recording this, and I've played before and really like. It's a game called River Dragons. Mm-hmm. I don't know if either you've played that or not.
I've not played it, no. Have you, Tom?
I have, with Samuel.
Yes, so River Dragons, it's a plays 2 to 6 in somewhere around half an hour, although with 6 it'd probably take more like 1 hour. Basically, it's an action programming game where you're trying to be the first to cross a river. So there's sort of 6 islands around the outside of the board, and you each start on one, and you're trying to get to the one sort of essentially opposite, possibly straight opposite, or possibly diagonally opposite. And in the middle of the river on the centre board, because there's an advanced board as well, the centre board has lots of these little islands on, and then each player gets a set of sort of cardboard, 6 different length things, cardboard sort of strips of cardboard used as bridges, and there's a pile of wooden grey discs which you use as stones. So the idea is you put stones on the island and then put the planks on the stones to make a bridge. And then it's got really nice meeples actually as well. It's got like proper little painted meeples, so it's really, really nice, and they've got little slots in the box as well, which I thought was a nice touch, because it didn't really need them, but yeah, the production quality is nice. Yes, so you're trying to build bridges to get across the river. So each round, everybody chooses. You've got a hand of cards each round, and you just choose. You just get to choose. It'll be somewhere around 10. It varies a little bit with player count, but it's around 10, and you'll choose 5 of them and put them down in the order you want to do your actions, as you would in an action programming game. And then everybody turns over the first one, and starting with the first player, they do that action, and so on. So then the first player will do their action, next player will do their action, and so on. Then you turn over the second one, and go around and do the actions, and so on. And then the next round, the first one will move on, and you repeat until somebody wins. And what I like about it is that, as I think perhaps with action programming games, there's a lot of propensity for things to go wrong and get messed up, generally from the other people, because there's a fair bit of take that. So, as well as the other cards are putting a stone or 2 stones down and bridges and moving, you've got things like, so you've got a card that allows you to get rid of a stone or get rid of a plank. And so quite often this is usually a plank where somebody was about to move, so then they have to move somewhere else. So then they're in a different place where they thought they were going to be in, so then it starts going wrong again. And there's 1 or 2 restrictions on what kind of planks you can remove and so on as well. That's one thing. You will the other major type of card is each player gets some dragon cards, 1 for each of the other players. And if you play a dragon card, so let's say I played my dragon card 3rd in a round. Let's say I played a green one. The green player's corresponding action, so their 3rd action wouldn't happen. They wouldn't get to do it at all. Which can really mess you up. I'm going to put this down. Oh, I can't put that down. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, I can't do that. Oh dear, this is all gone wrong. There's 1 or 2 other restrictions that sort of can make it harder as well. So each stone can only have 3 planks coming off it. So you can. Oh, I can't build to that one. Oh, that's annoying. I can't get off here because all these are blocked. Oh, for God's sake. And then when you put these down, you've got to try and put them somewhere, even if it doesn't help you sometimes. So it's like, I've got to put this down, but I can't put it down for me, so it's going to to go over there somewhere. So it gets quite entertaining trying to plan out what you're going to do and how it invariably not work at all. It's very entertaining, and of course you do get at the end something that Tom likes, I know, where this is what we did, we've built this thing on the board, because it gets a bit 3D as well with the planks going up and the meeples. Yeah. I really liked it. I happened to come across it in a shop when I was up in Edinburgh, and had a quick Google in the shop on my phone. Thought, this looks quite nice, and bought it and played it and really, really liked it. Played it with Scott Fry actually. He's bought it since then because he really liked it.
That's always a good sign. Yeah, if somebody else has played it and then thinks they like it that much, they're going to buy it as well.
It's quite good fun. I'd say I have played a bit of a mean trick sometimes, because on the first round the instinct is to put a couple of stones down so I can put some bridges down so I can move. So my first card down was a dragon to stop somebody putting stones down, so then they can't put bridges down, so then they can't move, so they can't do anything. And if they're not realising that I'm going to do that, it completely screws them up. It's about half an hour. The box says 25 minutes, but so about half an hour. I've had the games lasting up to an hour with sort of 6 players.
Yeah.
And it takes 2 to 6.
Yeah. Right, so it plays up to 6 as well. That's pretty good.
And it played 6 was obviously took a bit longer, but was generally quite fine because obviously you're all doing your planning at the same time, and then you're going around doing things. So it's quite quick. I mean, I've had rounds where literally nothing's happened because people have just blocked each other, so no one's actually had an action they can actually do, which can be quite good. So yeah, it's quite nice. It's very easy to set up and teach as well, because you just basically, to teach it, you just go through what all the cards do. You explain that you've got to get to the other side, then you just go through all the cards in a sensible order, and then you've explained it as well. It's quite nice because there's cards, but there's never any shuffling, so your cards are not going to wear out from constant shuffling either. And yeah, it's got lovely minis. It's got a nice thing. And then it's got an advanced board where there are no islands at all, so you can put the stones wherever you want. If you want a bit of a challenge, you don't have to put on islands.
Yeah, sounds good. Tom, what did you think of that one?
I thought it was really good. It's sort of got a little bit of a dexterity element and sort of judgment of distances and things. But mainly it's just trying to do things and failing because other people got in the way, which is a lovely dynamic between players. Yeah, and the meeples can't move past each other either, so you have to try and jump over somebody or move a different way as well. Yeah. And then if you fail sort of movements for some reason, you end up falling off into the river and have to go back to your starting island. It always happens with programmed actions games. Have you ever played Robo Rally?
Yes, I've played that. We played that in the 24-hour thing, and I got a bit annoyed, but I've since bought it and played it a couple of times myself.
Yeah, it's got the same thing. You program in your actions, and then your other people's actions can make you just fail. So you just know, I know that my next thing is go forward too. Oh no, they've just turned me around. Oh no, now I definitely have to fall in that pit.
Yes, and the other thing with that one, of course, is if you want to do it this way, which is the best way to do it, is that you can time the planning phase on that one. So you get your hand of cards and oh god, what am I doing? I don't know what I did there. I did something, I don't know what it was. Help.
Yes, it's got a nice sense of panic in that, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the actual default rules are you don't time that phase, but it's much better if you do. It's much more hilarious and just goes hilariously wrong if you try and do it. It can take quite a while because it's kind of a racing thing. I was playing at the club, I think, with about 5 or 6 of us. That plays up to 8 as well, that one. We were playing with about 5 or 6, and we had a 4-gate thing, and I think we had to stop after somebody got to gate 2 because we'd spent about 2 hours on the game.
It can
nobody got past the second gate because people kept crashing and starting again and everything. But it's again very entertaining. I do quite like an action programming game because of that chaos. I get quite into games that have that kind of chaotic element of oh god, everything's gone wrong, help. Because generally they tend to be fairly light and fairly light-hearted, so it's not,
I think the hardest I've ever laughed in a game is playing Robo Rally at PolyGCon a few years ago with Sam, other Sam, not other Sam, Psycho Man Sam. Yes, yeah, got too many Sams. And just the second time I did exactly the same thing of getting on a conveyor belt and then turning around and falling straight off the edge of the board, and I did exactly the same thing 2 times in a row, and I just knew it was going to happen, and then it just happened. And but then after that, I got myself up and I won, so it's fine.
Fine, yeah. And then the other good programming game, of course, is Colt Express.
Oh yes, of course.
Which is kind of similar, but of course then you don't do the actions until everyone's put all of their actions down. Mm-hmm. That's a bit different. But again, that's one of the first games I played at the club, and I really enjoyed it, and I've bought that myself. But it was one of the first games I bought. Pretty much the first game I bought after joining the club, and that's quite good fun because I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Oh, that I'm not where I thought. Oh, it's quite fun when I'm going to move down. Oh, the sheriff's there. Oh, God, I've moved up. Oh, I was going to move.
Everything else I do in this turn.
You move sideways, get hit by the sheriff, and go up. Then you're planning to go up, so then the up becomes down, so you go down and hit the sheriff again. the marshal again. That's very unfortunate. It's like,
If you get moved to somewhere you weren't expecting on your very first turn, the rest of your turn you're just turning over these cards, going, I know what's going to happen.
Yes, I've once, I can't remember who it was. I've once seen somebody plan out their entire turn And then as we're going through it, well, they were looking at completely the wrong figure the entire time.
Yep. Oh dear.
And so they were planning out completely. Their moves didn't make any sense at all. They're all completely wrong because they looked at the wrong figure for the entire turn.
Oh well.
Which was hilarious. So they were all completely pointless moves. It was silly. Yeah. But again, I quite like that kind of game.
We've got we play games on a Tuesday in Sheffield at the University Arms, and we also play a Wednesday at Castle Gaming as well. But board games is only a small part of what Castle Gaming do. They do hold events for all sorts of different things. So I spoke to Alex about what else goes on at the shop, and here he is now. I'm here at Castle Gaming with Alex. Hello, Alex.
Evening, Rick.
Hello. Thanks for joining me.
Happy to be here.
Can you tell me a bit about yourself, please?
Sure. Well, my name's Alex. I'm one of the co-owners of Castle Gaming. Been a hobbyist for quite a long time. I'm thinking way back, maybe 1995. I think I got my first GW kit, which was my introduction into the whole tabletop hobby. Naturally, as a kid, had board games and things anyway. But I think Workshop was definitely the black hole that sucked me through. And ever since then, it's been multiple thousands of pounds and years later, and even today, I've still got a bunch of Marines downstairs that I'm making. So there's no stopping that. But no, I've very much kind of been into sci-fi, fantasy for quite a long time. Grew up watching Buck Rogers, Battlestar Galactica, Stingray, Thunderbirds, the whole Jerry Anderson thing. A lot of it inspired by my dad, really. He very much kind of grew into it as a kid, in the kind of like late 60s and 70s. And then I've naturally inherited it.
Can you tell us a bit about the shop, about the Castle Gaming itself?
Yeah. So Castle Gaming very much is a project that me and the guys were talking about for a very, very long time. We originally started out at the Castle pub up the road in Balsterstone, which I believe is on the ruins of a castle originally. So we've kind of got a bit of a legacy thing going on there, castles and castles. And we kind of talked quite a long time about initially just getting a venue for all of us to be able to play. There's 5 or 6 of us that were kind of core players at the time, myself, Craig, Jason, when he would come up and things. And it was really nice to kind of have a space we used to use upstairs in there, put all the beer tables together, all different heights and things. It was a bit of a hodgepodge thing, but it was quite nice in a very kind of, basics. Let's just kind of chuck our models down and play, or we'd chuck board games down and things and stuff, and then have the food delivered upstairs. It was really nice. And that kind of evolved and morphed into when we were driving down through Stocksbridge one day. We were looking at properties, thinking, I wonder how much it would cost to really get a place and have a space that's our own. As we tried looking around at the library and again at the pub and things, and they were good, and it was okay on a small level, but just really not enough to kind of get us off the ground, and I suppose build something that was as accessible as the shop is today. So we took the plunge almost 2 years ago. Kind of moved in here around October time, and I suppose really since then it's been very much about building a community and letting people know we're here. I'd like to think the giant space marine in the window downstairs would help, along with all the board games. We're very lucky that we're obviously on the high street compared to being in like a retail unit or high or off the beaten track. But no, I think it's been really good. We've managed to build a really good community of like sort of 30 or 40 people that come on a regular basis across the various different nights that we offer in the week, whether it's the board game crowd to the role-playing crowd to the tabletop crowd, or just the crowd that want to come down and just be with everybody else and enjoy the atmosphere of being in a creative environment. Yeah, that's one of the great things about Castle Gaming, I think, is the variety of stuff that you do here. It's not just board gaming, you do a lot of all kinds of different events and things. Yeah, definitely. It's very much a kind of open space. I mean, we've tried to make it almost a kind of hip, clean coffee shop rather than sort of dungeon, so to speak, which is very, very easy for a lot of these shops to kind of become. But no, it's very, very clean, very, very open. We've got 4 decent sized tables downstairs. A lot of time the guys will take multiple tables and put them together and have the bigger RPG games. We've also got upstairs where we are now, which we can put stuff on up here as well. So yeah, it's definitely a space. It's nice and bright. Yeah. As far as the role-playing is concerned, there's various different groups running like different games and different systems, isn't there? Oh yeah. I mean, at any one time we've got 4 or 5 really big kind of RPG groups that are going on. D&D, Dungeons and Dragons being the big one. Call of Cthulhu, go Cthulhu, yeah! for a bunch of guys, there's a Mask of Nyarlathotep campaign, or Nyarlathotep, depending on how you want to pronounce it. that's about to kick off. We do Vampire the Masquerade, which I think is the 5th edition. There's a whole lot of one shots that go off down here as well. The vast majority of the time, it's really about what the players want to play, what the community wants to play, and we'll happily cater for that. We can bring in experienced GMs or people that have run stuff before, or there are other GMs that will approach us to run games they want, and literally the guys will just rock up, and it's very much an open door really. So anyone can go and have a taste of what it's like to be a vampire in Boston or whatever is the Masquerade one they're doing.
Yeah, and there's also other events as well that you do, like painting and model making.
Yeah, well. Yeah. We've tried to build the week around kind of catering for everybody, really. So so we've got Tuesday night that's kind of just open gaming, for lack of a better term. Wednesday that's very much for yourself and the board game crowd. Thursday that's for the painters out there and the guys that kind of want to either learn from a lot of the painters we've got in here, or just give it a try themselves. It's also nice to kind of have a bit of an open evening as well with that. Friday tends to be the big RPG night, so every man and his dog will rock up, and we don't leave here till like 1 a.m. sometimes as the games go on. And then literally Saturday and Sunday are there for other activities that they want, whether it's again one-shot role playings, or we've got kids and dads that come in that want to learn the rules for how to play Warhammer 40,000, that kind of thing.
What about yourself? Have you played any games recently? What's your favourite?
Gosh, I wish I had time to play. My real day job, which unfortunately isn't this place, it's in IT, keeps me from playing a lot of things. But I do try to get on the Xbox a fair bit, and board game when I can. The one that I do tend to play more than anything else is Catan on my iPad.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a huge Catan fan. I've loved it very much since I kind of had my first introduction into it. There's definitely something magic about those German board games. They tend to be cute and adorable and have a really robust rule set that just absolutely works. So yeah, Catan's a definite favourite. I also love playing Spartacus, Blood and Sand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Spartacus downstairs. That's a great one. Again, when we all play, everyone has their particular house or faction and their way of playing, which again is I'm thinking back to loads of fun memories in the Castle pub as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, outside that, I think the main thing is just that I really do enjoy hobbying as well, the making and painting. But just like everyone, I can't find enough time in the sun to do it. But if I could, I'd do it every day. It would definitely be fantastic to do.
If people need to find you on the internet or on Facebook, how do people get hold of you?
Yeah. I mean, the obviously aside from being on the high street in Stocksbridge, just opposite Fox Valley, the easiest way is to find the Facebook group, Castle Gaming. Just keyword search that, you should find us in the logo straight away, which is ironically enough, a black logo with a white castle on it. It says Castle Gaming. But no, I mean, literally, you use the Facebook page to contact us. Yeah. Send the message, either myself or one of the guys will pick it up, whether it's requests for games or I want to learn something, through to can you order me this in. More than happy to do that.
Okay, well, thanks for your time.
No, thank you.
I'll speak to you again soon.
Well, that's right. Cheers.
Bye. So, question of the week. This was suggested by Paul C, who's one of our members who comes to the club. How do you deal with alpha gamers in cooperative games? So, we probably should explain that a cooperative game is where everybody's kind of playing together. You're all playing as a team. You'll either win or lose as a team. So, there's no individual players. And an alpha gamer is where one person will take control, and he won't let you kind of make your own decisions. So, he'll say, "You move here, do this, put this there, and then you do this and do this, I'll do this, and then that's it, right, go." And kind of takes that decision making away from you. So I really like cooperative games. They're one of my favourite kind of games. I've got quite a few already. Some games don't have that problem because they either have hidden information or there's too much going on where you can't kind of keep track of everything that's that's going on at once. So you kind of have your own little board and you have a timer or something like that cuts down on that kind of thing. So sometimes it's down to the game itself. And one of the main culprits that always gets their finger pointed at it perhaps is Pandemic. So Pandemic's a classic game that's been out for a few years now, and that's always accused of having an alpha gamer problem. I think I might have been really lucky in this aspect that I've never really come across this problem. I've never really had this issue. So it's not really a problem for myself, but I can see how people would say, oh, this is the optimal move. We need to do this, and right, you need to do this, and then if you're not doing that, you're not going to win the game. Then it can be a bit of a problem. I know, and I think in the copy I've got, it suggests that the cards that you hold, the cards that have the cities on them, you can play them with them in your hand rather than kind of face up on the table, and that kind of negates that a little bit.
Yeah, I've never played with a Pandemic without having the cards out on the table for everyone to see.
No, me neither.
I don't think anyone has. I think that's the way it says in the rules to have it in your hand. But yeah, no, I don't think anyone plays like that. But I've never had a problem with that either. Really, I don't think.
I think board games are just far too nice. We must play with the really nice people. So if let's say theoretically that did happen, then somebody came to your table and said, right, you need to do this on your turn. If you don't do that, we're going to lose. Is that being cooperative, or is that me being forceful and telling you what you're going to do?
It might depend on the skill of the game that they're talking to or instructing, because obviously in some ways the game is you're winning and losing as a team, so they're trying to do what's best for the team. And obviously it'd be best if you were able to work that out. But you might not have been able to, or you might not have seen that, or they might have realised what needs to be done. And it might be something that needs to be done rather than something that perhaps could be done. So it might also depend on just how they literally the tone of the voice when they say it as well, possibly something like that.
Yeah, there's a fine line, isn't there? I mean, these cooperative games, you do discuss things and you try and work out the best route, the best way to do things. So if somebody's coming up with a plan and they think that's going to be the best move, then that's part of the game, isn't it? That's part of what makes it cooperative. But then again, there's a fine line where where do you step over the mark and sort of take over and start doing things for other people.
Yeah, I mean, I would say if you're sort of suggesting things and sort of as kind of questions, I'm just going to do this. Do you think that's all right, kind of thing? Rather than just saying, well, or maybe I think you should do that. What do you think? Sort of phrasing it more as a question than as an order, or as a suggestion than an order would probably be better. Yeah.
I think as long as everyone's then involved in analysing it and saying, oh yes, that means because that would then move over there and we'd be able to do that. Yeah, that seems like a good idea. Well done, let's do that. That might be okay. If it's just someone saying what to do and someone else disengaging because, oh well, what should I do? Do this? Okay, I'll do that. Yeah, that would be a bad thing. But I think this problem would mainly come up if you got people of very different skill levels with that game. So if there's someone who's played it 40 times and someone else who's playing it for the first time and wouldn't necessarily be confident in their own skills in it, then they might not be in a position to put their own views forward. So if someone does tell them, then they're just going to say, "Oh, all right, I'll do that then."
So if you've played Pandemic quite a lot, so if you're joining in a game with somebody who's only played it once or twice,
like me, for example,
and you see a good move that they've obviously missed. As part of the cooperative game, you'd obviously say, you need to move there and do this, do that. Is that something that you'd do, or would there ever come a point where you'd let people kind of work it out for themselves?
Oh, I'd totally
pull back a little bit.
I'd totally try not to be the alpha gamer and let people work things out for themselves. But you can suggest things. There's something that Paul has occasionally done when I've tried suggesting things like, "Oh, you could do that there." You go, "Oh, right. Well, I'm definitely not doing that then." Oh, okay. And then she carries on analysing things, but that is now off the table. That option is not happening. Whatever. She's got to work out something on her own. Yeah.
Yeah, if you know the players well as well, you know that they're going to take it. They're going to take it the right way as well.
Yeah.
So if you're being quite forceful and saying, right, you've got to do this on your turn, then you know if you know the players, then you can treat it as a bit of a joke, or you can say, yeah, right, I will do that. I'll do it this time, and then perhaps on my next turn I'll do something different. I think that's a lot to do with it as well. Like you said, Tom, with if you play it quite a lot and you play with new people, then perhaps you want to let them take the front seat. But
yeah, I mean, in the end, it doesn't matter if you've won or lost. I mean, but if you're just taking over from someone and they're just become totally disengaged, then you've definitely lost, even if you win the game.
Yeah, it's definitely not as enjoyable.
I played Spirit Island recently, and that's one of the games where it's that complicated that you can't really tell people what to do on their turn, because there's that many abilities and that much stuff going on. You're constantly thinking about your own stuff, that what you can do rather than. So sometimes it's down to the game as well. Perhaps some games suffer from it slightly more than others.
Yeah, it sort of depends how the cooperative bit works. So if you've got individual roles, or whether you have individual turns, or whether you're sort of all working. If you're doing something like an escape room game, for example, you haven't got individual player turns. You're all sort of working on puzzles together. Whereas in Pandemic, I think you have an individual turn each. So it'll be a bit different. Or in Spirit Island, you'll have a turn each. So you'll do certain things on your turn. Then you're not the active player at that point, kind of thing. So in terms of when you're in charge, as it were, you like to be in charge on your turn. So you'll be in a turn-based game. You'll be in charge at sort of certain points. Whereas in like the escape room type games, there are no turns. So any one person could be in charge at any one time. That's possibly more prone to alpha game. I don't know.
Some people just don't like cooperative games as well, don't they? I know a couple of people at the club just dislike them and won't even play them.
Okay.
I don't think this is necessarily the problem. Why? Because you've got an alpha player in there. It's just that they don't particularly like that style of game.
Yeah.
What about like things like timers? If you've got like a sand timer in there or a cube or something to stop people, set people have a set time to make their move. Do you think that would help, or would it just be more stressful?
It depends on the people in question. I've played and I've seen people playing Terror in Mars with the cube to make the goes go faster. So people are aware of that and will adhere to that, and are not going to get sort of know that that's going to be a key thing before the game starts. Might be more. It depends how good you are at sort of planning quickly and how flustered you get at sort of time limits. In terms of a cooperative game, I'd have thought for a cooperative game it's less necessary because you're kind of all working together anyway. So
yeah, I think in a way a time limit could take away the relaxed nature of letting people make up their own things and make people more likely to be alpha players. Like, you have to do that now, otherwise we've got to run out of time.
Yeah, potentially. It depends on the nature of the game. Obviously, the unlock games have a timer built in anyway. And then some games like Pandemic, you're trying to save the world, so there's kind of a pressure element anyway. It depends what the sort of the theme is, and how relaxed it is.
Yeah, so some of the games come with a timer as well built in. So I'm thinking of Fuse that I think we've played a couple of times, Tom.
Yeah,
that's one where you get an app and you've got a timer and everybody's working on their own little puzzle in front of them.
I don't think it's possible to be an alpha player there. No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So perhaps that's the answer, is to kind of swap over to that style of game where you don't get time to do it, or it's not possible to pick other people's turns apart because you're concentrated on your own move at that point.
No, I think just the general rule of playing board games is play with people you like.
Yeah.
If there's someone annoying, just try not to play games with them.
Yeah, just try and avoid playing games anybody think it might be an alpha game, or
as a kind of last resort, I guess. If you know that people are going to do that, then you get all the alpha gamers together and let them play a Pandemic together and see who wins.
So you can out alpha all the other alphas.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, that pretty much wraps it up for this episode then. Thank you both for joining me. Thanks, Tom and Samuel, for joining me. It's been great having you on.
Yeah, it's been great to be on.
thank you for joining us. We're available on Facebook. You can kind of contact us through there. We're on the forum, which is www.sheffieldboardgamers.com. You can email us, which is sheffieldboardgamers@gmail.com. We're on Twitter and Instagram. We're on YouTube. If you want to play some games with us, have a look on there and find when we're playing and come and play. We always welcome new players, and we'll see you hopefully next time. Thanks for joining us. Bye for now.